All right, good evening, folks, and sorry for being a little bit late this evening. Our previous meeting went a little bit later than had planned, and we still got to come back and clean up a few things after our public meeting. So I apologize for that, for the 5 or 6 or 7 minutes that were delayed. So first of all, I'll call to order the regular meeting, October the 20th, 2020. The agenda, adoption of agendas and minutes. Adoption of the meeting agenda for October 20, 2020. Christine, Councillor Butler, sorry, and Councillor Bent. Adoption of the meeting minutes of October 6, 2020. Moved Deputy Mayor Murphy, second Councillor Tilley. All those in favour? Contraminded, carried. I don't know if I got a vote on the first one. Did I get a, I didn't, did I? All those in favour of the previous motion, adoption of the meeting agenda for October the 20th, it was passed by Councillor Butler, seconded by Councillor Tilley. All those in favour? Contraminded, carried. Business arising from previous minutes? There being none. Visitors, presentations, and petitions. First we have a proclamation. The Newfoundland and Labrador Stuttering Association, NLSA. I believe actually they had somebody here with us last year, but unfortunately, because of COVID, of course, I couldn't be here today. Whereas today is intended to raise public awareness of stuttering, which affects about 1% of the population, totaling approximately 70 million worldwide and approximately 350,000 Canadians. And whereas today millions of children, adolescents, and adults face the daily physical, emotional, and psychological challenges of living with a stutter, including stereotyping and discrimination. And whereas today we must ensure that these children, adolescents, and adults who stutter can access affordable and effective speech therapy if they wish, and find help through the combined efforts of speech-language professionals and consumer support organizations. And whereas today is an opportunity to support speech-language pathologists and allied health professionals who work with those who stutter. And whereas today is an opportunity to ensure that the voice of people who stutter is heard by influencing and advancing issues relevant to people who stutter at all political levels. And whereas today marks an international commitment to educate people with this complex disorder to work toward the prevention of stuttering in children and to support continued research to find the causes of stuttering. Now therefore, I, Terry French, Mayor of Conception Bay South, Newfoundland and Labrador, do hereby proclaim October the 22nd, 2020 as International Stuttering Awareness Day. So signed. Okay. Council travel. Clerk, do we need a motion for that? Now, this is just for, this is basically for Councillor Hillier, visited Halifax and reported back on the library in Halifax. And Councillor Bursley, of course, went to our H&L conference in Corner Brook, and that's the cost associated with it. And for those that don't know, I'm certainly a big believer in us attending conferences to make sure that the Conception Bay South is represented appropriately. And Councillor Bursley that, and Councillor Hillier was on a fact-finding mission and tour. I don't know, Councillor Hillier, if you want to add anything to that?
No, Your Worship, I was part of, I attended that trip to Halifax and with some members of staff, and we had an opportunity to tour the library in Halifax, which basically, I guess, is the newest building, newest library this side of Montreal. And since that time, we've talked with members of the library community, and hopefully some of the things we saw there can be incorporated into our new library.
Good stuff. So next we have our Bright Business Achievement Awards. The 2020 Bright Business Achievement Awards. Conception Bay South is home to over 500 businesses that provide a wide range of services and products to our community. The annual Bright Business Achievements Awards is just one of the initiatives of the town to celebrate the success and vitality of our business community. The 2020 Bright Business Achievement Awards, sponsored by TD Bank, and let me say that TD Bank is a great corporate citizen and certainly always there to step up for town events, received 40 nominations across 7 categories. Unfortunately, we're unable to celebrate the business community at our usual luncheon event, which we have every year. However, we felt it was important to continue with our awards program to recognize the commitment and resilience of our business and entrepreneurs and highlight their excellence. And let me tell you, the people that got through 2020 in business this year and are still around, they all should be highlighted, because if 2020 has been probably one of the worst years ever to be in business, and have been involved in small business over the years myself, especially, you know, through the rough months, you're going week to week and day to day sometimes to meet payrolls and so on. And I certainly want to especially take my hat off to our business community for getting through this year and still being in business and still being here in Conception Bay South in business. So I certainly personally want to thank you very much. In partnership with our award sponsors, TD Bank, and in conjunction with the Conception Bay Area Chamber of Commerce and Downtown Conception Bay South, it is our pleasure to announce the winners of this Town of Conception Bay South's Bright Business Achievement Awards for 2020 this evening. The Community Pride and Partnership Award will be announced by Councillor Bent. Councillor Bent.
Thank you, Your Worship. The Community Pride and Partnership Award is given to commercial or home-based businesses who contribute significantly to recreation, amateur sports, community initiatives, arts and culture, education, and/or charitable groups within the town. They promote the spirit of Conception Bay South, and they are committed to the local community and are proud to be part of the town's business network. In no particular order, the nominees for the 2020 Community Pride and Partnership Award are Concept Nutrition, the Conception Bay Area Chamber of Commerce, Eastern Safety Services, Funky Junk Home Decor, the Music Corner, and Taylor's Fish, Fruit, and Vegetable Market. Congratulations to all the nominees, and thank you for your contribution to the business community in our town. The winner of the 2020 Community Pride and Partnership Award is Funky Junk Home Decor. Congratulations to all the folks down there at Funky Junk, Emma and Joanne, and all the members of the people that keep that business going. And next up, the new startup of the year will be announced by Deputy Mayor Murphy.
Thank you very much, Councillor Bent. The new startup of the year is awarded to a commercial or home-based business that takes pride in their business skills, has an impact on the local economy, demonstrates sustainability with businesses community, and has been in operation no longer than 36 months. In alphabetical order, the nominees for the 2020 New Startup of the Year are 365 Wellness, Exploring Awaits Childcare, Frida's Riverside Cafe, Gully's Convenience, The Hangout, Joy Marks Physio Integrated Therapy, Seaview Accounting, and Sedge Salon and Spa. And the 2020 New Startup of the Year is awarded to Frida's Riverside Cafe. And Councillor Uden will now announce the David Murphy Chamber Leadership Award.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Murphy. The David Murphy Chamber Leadership Award is sponsored by the Conception Bay Area Chamber of Commerce. This award goes to a commercial or home-based entrepreneur and member of the CBA Chamber of Commerce that demonstrates outstanding entrepreneurial spirit, creativity, and/or innovation in their day-to-day business activities. In no particular order, the nominees for 2020 are Parsons & Sons Transportation, Funky Junk Home Decor, Musically Inclined, Eastern Safety Services, and Taylor's Fish, Fruit, and Vegetable Market. The David Murphy Chamber Leadership Award winner for 2020 is Taylor's Fish, Fruit, and Vegetable Market. Congratulations. I'll now pass it on to for the Beautiful Business Awards that will be announced by Councillor Davis. Councillor Davis.
Thank you, Councillor Uden. The Beautiful Business Award recognizes commercial businesses who consistently demonstrate pride in the exterior appearance of their buildings and grounds. This award is granted to 2 businesses, one operating in a standalone building and one operating in a multi-tenant building. In no particular order, the nominees for 2020 Beautiful Business of the Year are Heritage Square Retirement Living, Hickey's Greenhouse, Around the Block Quilting and Fabric, Remax Infinity. And the 2020 Beautiful Business for Multiple Tenant Building is Around the Block Quilting Fabric. Congratulations. The 2020 Beautiful Business for Single Tenant Building is Heritage Square Retirement Living. Congratulations. The next one up is the G. Noseworthy Award, will be announced by Councillor Hillier.
Thank you very much, Councillor Davis. The G. Noseworthy Award is sponsored by the Conception Bay Area Chamber of Commerce and is an employee recognition award that celebrates an individual's long service and devotion to their employer. Employers must be members of the Conception Bay Area Chamber of Commerce. And the winner of the 2020 G. Noseworthy Award is Bob Wiseman, music instructor with Music Inclined. Congratulations, Bob. And I'll pass it across to Councillor Tilley to announce the Downtown CBS Member of the Year.
Thank you, Councillor Hillier. The Downtown CBS Member of the Year is an award given to a member of the Downtown Business Improvement Association who has strived to contribute to the overall vision of Downtown CBS as set out by the board management. This year's nominees for Downtown CBS Member of the Year include The Hangout, Funky Junk Home Decor, and Exploring Awaits Childcare. The Downtown CBS Member of the Year for 2020 is The Hangout. Congratulations to those, and Mayor French, I will get you to announce the final category, Established Business of the Year.
Thank you, Councillor Tilley. To the agenda here. All right. Established Business of the Year is awarded to a commercial or home-based business that has distinguished themselves from their business skills, demonstrated recent noble achievements, are committed to providing exceptional customer service, which this group certainly is, have an impact on the local economy, and have been in business longer than 36 months. In no particular order, the nominees for 2020 are Golden House Restaurant, Around the Block Quilting and Fabric, Eastern Safety Services, Taylor's Fish, Fruit and Vegetable Market, Winter Heating, Maze Variety, CBS Glass, The Paint Shop, Conception Bay Area Chamber of Commerce, a Sparkle Clean Home Service. And the 2020 Established Business of the Year is Taylor's Fish, Fruit and Vegetable Market. Congratulations, Taylor's. I have to say they're synonymous with Conception Bay South as Foxtrap is, because I think they've been selling fish in Foxtrap for certainly as long as I can remember, and do a great job too. And I know a lot of people that I know from outside of our community, it actually comes to Taylor's to get their fish and fruit and vegetables. So delighted to see them win, and they're certainly a long-time staple in our community. I would say they're a cultural attraction in our community, certainly in Foxtrap. So again, congratulations to all the winners. You know, it's really unfortunate that we couldn't come together and do this like we always do, but it was certainly a credit to Jennifer and her staff for putting this together and pulling it off in the best way we possibly could with the new COVID restrictions. So again, congratulations, and thanks for the nominees for taking the time to put all the stuff together on each one of these companies.
Excuse me, Your Worship, you forgot to introduce me.
Oh. I thought that was the end of it. Sorry, Councillor Butler.
I actually get the last word in for this.
Sorry, that's all right too. You can have a last word all the time. That's what I thought you said.
No
but
problem.
I was going
Your Worship, I want to close out the awards by saying a couple of things here. This week, October 17th to 23rd, we are celebrating Small Business Week. The theme for 2020 is very fitting: Canada, a nation of entrepreneurs showcasing the people behind the business. It is essential that we take the time to recognize the resilience of all of our local businesses and entrepreneurs, try to understand what has changed for businesses in our community, and look to build for the future in these uncertain times. 2020 has brought many challenges and has had a critical impact on our economy. In this unprecedented context, local entrepreneurs have had to pivot and, once again, have shown their courage and ability to adapt. I encourage you in your own ways to celebrate entrepreneurship and recognize the vital role played by entrepreneurs and employees right here in our own community. As always, I would encourage you to support locally owned and operated businesses whenever possible. The Conception Bay Area Chamber of Commerce has launched a new online directory that encourages you to buy local, grow local. This new resource highlights the wide range of products and services available locally and works to educate the public about the benefits of supporting locally owned and operated businesses. On behalf of Council, I would like to offer congratulations to all nominees and award winners of the town's 9th Annual Bright Business Achievement Awards. Winners will be contacted by staff to arrange presentation of their awards. Thank you. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. All right. So, new business. Deputy Mayor Murphy.
Thank you, Your Worship. I don't have anything to report this evening. Thank you.
Councillor Uden.
Two things, Your Worship. First of all, I attended Northeast Avalon Joint Town Councils late last week, and I'd just like to mention a group, and it's Pipe Down NL, and it basically evolved out of, I guess, the complaints with noise and loud vehicles in the Quadavada Road area, in Signal Hill. And I think their problems were exactly the same as Councillor Bent and others have identified on Topsail Beach Road. And they met, and it's an issue that we've raised here in the past, but in terms of the provincial regulations required to actually enforce penalties for excessive noise in neighborhoods and so forth. And I think they raised a number of good points, and I know the province met with them, and some mayors, and I guess the city of Mayor Denny Breen and some others. But I think it's important to note that they're trying to gain some attention. The group has an organization called Pipe Down NL, and I guess lastly, they're trying to change the regulations so that it can actually be enforced. One interesting point they did make was they're selling, parts and aftermarket parts and vehicles, and anybody who lives within earshot of Route 60 you can hear it. And they're excessive. They have been recorded at decibels that can do damage to ears and so forth. But I think probably the most important thing is there's people with sensory issues, whether they be autistic or whatever. It sets them off and it drives them nuts, and it's not a safety issue. If they really wanted to, I guess, concern themselves with the vehicle noise and it was a safety issue, you'd have all those bikes driving around in orange coveralls, and they don't. So to be quite honest, it's baloney. And I certainly know Mona Rossiter and some others, and Ralph Tucker, former mayor of Torbay, and others are spearheading the issue, and I just think it's important that we follow it closely. On a positive note, I'd just like to mention we've all been by Legion Road, and the Robert French Memorial Stadium looks absolutely incredible. The company did some great work during COVID times and over the course of the summer, and I think we had a peek inside, and with the new membrane on the inside and the exterior renovations, it looks pretty close to a new building, and it's really good to see. That's it for me, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Uden. Councillor Tilley.
Thank you, Worship. Just to update a couple of projects that are on the go in the Ward 3 area. We're finally starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, per se, on Tilley's Road South. Our 3-year project is long overdue, so I think, judging by the amount of trucks that passed by my house at 6:30 this morning, it looks like they were laying some pavement throughout today, so I don't know if they got it finished yet or not, but the project will be finished pretty soon, so hats off for that one. And of course, motorists are still advised of the sidewalk work that's been undergoing on Route 60, just west of or between Redbridge Road and Hines Road, so that work continues. And that's it from Ward 3. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tilley. Councillor Hillier.
Yes, Your Worship, over the last couple of months, I guess we've gotten used to not using plastic bags at the supermarket, single-use plastic bags, and you can see it, I guess, from two perspectives. First of all, you don't see as many hanging up in trees and so on as you did at one point in time along the trails. And when you're out around Sobeys, you don't see as many people coming out with juggling tins of soup and heads of lettuce and turnip and so on in their arms. They're remembering to bring along their reusable bags. Ran into a gentleman this week, and he sort of made a point that, yeah, things are really looking good along some of our trails, but there's still a batch of refuse that we're not getting rid of, and those are styrofoam cups, plastic lids, plastic straws, and so on. And perhaps that's the next step that we should be taking, and perhaps that's a leadership position that we may need to take or should take as a community.
Good point. I don't mean to interrupt, but I just last week, end of last week, walked Manuel's River Trails, and I walked every one of them. So I walked down each side and up each side, east and west, and there was, I won't name the business, but there was a certain type of cup that was scattered throughout the trails, and it broke my heart to see it. And I was the full walk trying to think of ways to, to discourage that kind of behavior. It was terrible. And I even met one lady who had her arms full of them and was picking them up, and I had to take my hat off to her, and so this is the kind of things that people are doing, but it's too bad that people abuse it like that still, it's such a beautiful trail. But anyway, that's it. Councillor Bent.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a couple of things, and just with the trails, with the weather the way it's been over the past number of weeks into this fall and continues, I encourage anyone that has not taken a walk on the trail that goes to Worsley Park up to Manuel's River, or from Manuel's River down to Worsley Park that just opened, officially a couple of months ago. It is an incredible asset to our town. It's a fantastic trail. You only got to go about 5 minutes, and you wouldn't know where you were. You were up in the woods somewhere. You can't hear anything. You can't see anything other than the great nature that's around us, and it's just a fantastic addition to the trail system. It is unfortunate that people are not taking everything back home with them that they bring to it, but I think maybe we ought to do a little communication on that and promote, cleaning up after yourself when you're out in these areas. You'll never eradicate it, but you make it better than it is. And of course, most everyone that uses these trails on a regular basis are pretty conscientious about this and are just as upset as everyone else when they see the garbage laying around. Just a couple of notes, and thankfully, most all of the road work this year was done in Ward 1 first, so it's moved down now. I understand there's some work going on in Ward 3, according to the councillor for that area, but there are a couple of things happening that I just wanted to mention, and that is the continuation of the sidewalk from Parmiter's Lane down to Monument Road. To finish that route that takes us from Topsail Elementary. We went a bit east a couple of years ago and have gotten down to Monument Road this year. That preliminary work has just started, and of course being on the main road and in a busy residential area around a school, I just want to remind motorists to be mindful and cautious in that area. That work should be finished up in a couple of weeks, and a great addition because it makes a bit of a loop then for people coming that are walking in this beautiful area of our town, coming down Monument Road, can get on a sidewalk and go all the way back up to Rectory Road or even a little further east and stay on the sidewalk, go back in around Metcalf's in that area and out Spruce Hill. It's a great addition, and it's even though it's a roadway and there are narrow lanes up in there, it almost makes for a park setting itself. So the sidewalk is very helpful there, and that work should be completed soon. And of course, the folks up on Parmiter's Lane, the curb and gutter has gone in up there. It's still gravel for a bit, but that work should be completed soon as well. So they'll be glad, since they're on a one-way street, they're stuck. They have to drive out over the gravel, and that's unfortunate, and it's been a long time. And I'm disappointed how long it's been, but it's getting done now, and it should be done soon, Your Worship. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bent. Councillor Butler.
Thank you, Your Worship. A couple of items here. This afternoon, I attended the funding announcement by Mayor Babbitt at the Town of Paradise to develop the final section of the T Railway in their municipality, from Ottingham Pan to Spruce Hill Road. It is great to see the Trailway being upgraded and connected to the town of Conception Bay South. It is anticipated the work will commence in the coming days with completion targeted for mid-2021. And our pumpkin stroll. The CBS Community Garden Committee is hosting their pumpkin stroll through Gateway Garden again this year. It will be held on November 1st from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Residents can drop off their pumpkins from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on November 1st at the Gateway Garden, Good to Grow, or the Parsons Rotary Clubhouse. Pumpkins will be composted following the event, and I think many of us were there last year, and it was quite the inaugural pumpkin stroll. And last little tidbit, I got a LinkedIn anniversary email sent to me this morning, and I think it's 15 years, Councillor Uden?
A lot more than that, I guarantee.
No, but 15 years as a councillor.
Oh,
Yes.
16.
Congratulations to you. Thanks, Your Worship.
I think he deserves a medal for that. Councillor Davis.
Nothing for me, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you. Just a couple of things. I again want to congratulate the winners of the Economic Development Awards. I think, like I said, this year has been just a horrific year. And, to see these people still putting their shoulder to the wheel, tipping into the wind and getting things done, and now operating in all the new COVID-19 restrictions and rules, and which comes at a cost. And I guess as the residents of this town will see in our next budget, and I'm sure we'll reference some of the extra costs that we've had to incur, but I can only imagine how it must be for businesses too. So I want to take my hat off to them again. Congratulate Starbucks for opening in the last couple of weeks. In the last week they opened, I think officially. I think they're having an opening later on. But there's a business that have been trying to come to our town for a long, long time, and I know councils have been trying to accommodate them for a long, long time, and there was lots of bumps along the way. And I actually met with one of the gentlemen, one part through the process, but anyway, they're finally open, up and running, and I like to think that good things do come eventually, and this was a way we found to make it happen at the site that it is a beautiful site, looks good, and I want to wish them all the best into the future. And certainly, as I've said many times, and as a council, we struggle because of the commercial tax base is only 8%, I think, or 9% of our total revenue, and we still see some of our neighbouring towns with their revenue at 25% of their revenue is based on their commercial tax rate. So it's certainly an area that we've got to continue to work hard on. And just this week, actually, I had an email from a gentleman in the west end of the town. And I tried to explain to him in an email, I was trying not to be curt in the email, but, we package Conception Bay South as Conception Bay South. So anybody that comes, we want them to come here. We don't dictate to them, you have to build in Kelligrews, or you have to build in Topsail, or you have to build in Seal Cove. We just want them to come here and do business. And, when you think about it, we're a pretty small town. I mean, we think, well, we're the biggest municipality, I guess, second biggest municipality in the province. But really, from a marketing perspective, we market as the town of Conception Bay South, and that's what, of course, we'll continue to do. And we'd like to see economic development spread evenly, but that's not the way it works, unfortunately, sometimes. But hey, we'll get there. As we continue to grow, our commercial base will grow as well, and we've got to continue being creative and trying to get people here. I just want to clue up by congratulating the town of Paradise and connecting the trail, if you will. It's a beautiful piece of infrastructure we had now from right to St. John's, right to Holyrood. And it's a beautiful piece of infrastructure. And you talk about marketing the region. I mean, that's something that we certainly could work on together as municipalities down Life's Road. So I really want to take my hat off to the town of Paradise. Thank you, Councillor Butler, for attending today. I'd hoped to attend, but unfortunately, work commitments didn't allow that. But again, congratulations to the town of Paradise. All right, so moving right along. Recommendations to the Planning and Development Committee. Chair, Councillor Hillier.
Your Worship, I'm going to have to declare conflict on item number 1.
Okay.
Yes, Your Worship, these are recommendations brought forward from our October 13, 2020 meeting. Number 1, sale of town-owned land, 36 to 40 Kennedy's Road. Recommendation, be it so resolved that resolution number 20-196 passed at the July 14, 2020 meeting of Council be rescinded, and further be it so resolved that in accordance with Section 201.3 of the Municipalities Act 1999, the town execute a quit-claim deed for 582 square meters of land at 36 of 40 Kennedy's Road, Upper Gullies, to an adjacent property owner for the nominal fee of $1. So moved.
Second?
Yes, Your Worship. This is a piece of land that came into the town's inventory back in 1982 for a cost of $700. It's a small piece of land on a turn on Kennedy's Road. The town has reserved a piece of the land for road widening. I'm not sure where that's going to go now. And another section we agreed to sell to an adjacent owner. As we've gone through title searches over the past weeks, we've discovered that there's a gap in ownership prior to 1982. So the person who sold it to us in 1982 really didn't have clear deed to that property. So if he didn't have a clear deed, then neither did we. So really, we don't own the property and therefore couldn't sell the property. So what we've agreed to do with the adjacent owner is to back out of all of our interests in that property for the nominal fee of $1, and let that resident, if they so desire, to try to establish claim to that property. So we're not selling a piece of property for $1 because we don't own the property. We're selling any interest that we would have in it for that $1. So moved.
So they would still have quite a bit of work to do. It's not the equivalent of a land that's in town inventory and selling it for fair market value, as we would normally do. So this is a totally different case. And so I know that people, if they ask a question, it's the reason it's $1 is because we really don't own the land when in the title searches. So.
Yes, Your Worship. I guess we've decided that we're not interested in going back prior to 1982 and trying to figure out who owned it, because it's not in our best interest. If the resident chooses to do so, that's certainly they're up to them to do so.
Fair enough. All those in favor?
All right.
Those against? Carried.
Yes, Your Worship. Item number 2, planning department.
I'm going to leave on number 2 before
Sure.
you start. And Deputy Mayor Murphy is back just in time.
Councillor Hiller, go ahead.
Yes, Your Worship. Number 2, Harbour Infill and Marginal Wharf Terminal Road. Our committee has chosen to defer this item for this evening and move it to a later agenda. Our intent was to have a motion in place in case we were ready to bring this forward this evening. We're not. I'd like to apologize to those residents who have been involved in this today and the confusion that it's developed. But certainly no intent in terms of circumventing the process that we're working through with OCI to develop a terms of reference for the proposed project. And I want to assure those people that had their comments in prior to October 16th that they will be considered and as to be possibly included in the final terms of reference document that we will bring forward at a later date. Your Worship, number 3.
Well, we're going to need a vote, or is
no-
that in the form of a motion, or?
That's not a motion. The committee has chosen not to bring it forward.
Okay. Okay, just before you finish, then I just want to, a minor correction. Any comments that have been fed back through the consultation process will be included in the terms of reference. It's not a possibility. They will be there. We've been guaranteed that.
Yes, sir.
Councillor Lear, just before we leave that one, just so that I don't put the mayor in conflict again, I'd just like the minister to reflect what the I guess discussion was at committee, and the discussion at committee was that provided that we could incorporate and get Stantec and other experts to look at to ensure that the terms of reference were complete, and they had adequate time, that we would have a recommendation in place. The committee, I guess the minutes doesn't reflect that fully, and I just wonder if the clerk could change the minutes to reflect that fully when we vote on the minutes, within the planning minutes or so forth.
We're asking,
So I can ask the director to reflect that conversation in their planning and committee minutes.
I'm assuming that's the correct process. It is. Okay. We'll have that change in the blanket statement of the minutes. Number 3.
If I could, still on that matter, the submissions that came in by the deadline by Friday that are being forwarded to Stantec for them to review, Stantec will come back to council at some point and suggest any possible changes in wording or additional questions and so forth. However, as well, in the meantime, we understand, and of course it's public knowledge, that OCI is changing its proposal for that development. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I haven't seen it yet. I understand that we're going to be getting some sort of information on that soon as to what that change is, whether it's smaller or bigger or whatever it happens to be. But from my understanding from the media is that they'll certainly move the development somewhat west. And I know that one of the things that we had asked OCI is to review that. As a council, we asked them to review that and possibly move it further west and further south to make for a larger channel there, because one of the big concerns that I think most of us have heard, and if not all of us, is that the channel, being as small as it was, or what was left there, was not adequate or not satisfactory to people that had raised concerns about it, and for boaters coming and going there. And most of the people that I had talked to, certainly, and they were very good in their discussions with me to articulate their views. Most of them said that they weren't opposed to the OCI development, they were just opposed as to where it sat then. So I haven't seen that. We haven't seen this proposal yet. So I guess the question, if I have a question, is will then that possibly lead to more changes to the land use impact assessment? And that's something I suppose that we can't answer at this point until we actually see these drawings and see what it is that OCI is actually going to be proposing once they get their review. From my understanding, the Navigable Waters has rejected the proposal, or at least suggested some sort of changes to that proposal, some of it based on the width of the channel and maybe some other things. So I have no idea, and I don't know if council does, but certainly have no idea yet what it is that they're looking for in changes, and that could delay this even further. So I'm just wondering now, do we, as we send it back, do we possibly send it again to Stantec a second time? Is that an option? And of course, all things are on the table after we get the review. So I want people to understand that things are slowing and changing at this point, certainly.
Yes, excuse me, Councillor Bent, the intent is to spend this week, I guess, evaluating comments and reevaluating terms of reference. We will reassess it at the Planning Committee next week and see where we are at that point in time. And if we need to move that further, we will do so. Your Worship, we don't have a motion to speak to, but everybody seems to be speaking. I don't know if there's anyone else who would like to make comment before. Okay, so I'll move on to the next item on our agenda. Okay, we bring in the mayor.
Okay, next,
I'll continue on.
yes, carry on, sir. That's what I was going to say.
Okay, request for rezoning at Shute Place. Recommendation, be it so resolved that the town initiate the process to rezone lands adjacent to
Seconder? Councillor Davis? Discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, this is the beginning of a rezoning process. Basically, there's a piece of property there on a cul-de-sac that for some reason or other was missed when there was a rezoning to residential there some time ago. So really what we're doing, we're bringing this particular piece of land in line with the other properties on that cul-de-sac. And we'll see this come back to us several times before it's concluded.
All those in favour?
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Carried.
Number 4, 487 Conception Bay Highway accessory building application. Be it so resolved that application number 20ACC227 received on September 18, 2020, seeking approval to construct a carport at 487 Conception Bay Highway be refused in accordance with section 5.32 of the town's development regulations, as the proposed carport would result in lot coverage for all accessory buildings on the property to exceed the lot coverage of the dwelling on the property. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Tilley, discussion?
Basically, Your Worship, the accessory buildings on the property would exceed the size of the house on the property, and that's against our regulations.
All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against? Motion carried.
Number 5, 41 Stanley's Road, discretionary size accessory building. Be it so resolved that in accordance with sections 5.32 and 5.332 of the town's development regulations, approval is granted for a 9.1 metre by 7.5 metre accessory building at 41 Stanley's Road, on condition that the building be located in the southwest corner of the property, behind the building line established by the dwelling on the property, and that the accessory building is complementary to the dwelling in style and exterior finish, such that it does not have the appearance of a prefabricated steel storage building or Quonset hut. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Uden, discussion? All those in favour?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 6, proposed river crossing 184 Foxtrot Access Road. Be it so resolved that resolution number 20-272 passed by Council's September 30, 2020 meeting be rescinded, and further be it so resolved that application number 2020-160 for a proposed stream crossing and culvert at 184 Foxtrot Access Road be approved on condition that the crossing is also approved by the Water Resources Management Division of the Department of Environment, Climate Change and Municipalities, and that the crossing is designed to accommodate the water flow of the river, and that any future development proposals for the land on the west side of the river be approved by the town. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Uden, discussion?
Yes, Your Worship. In this case, we had turned down this request earlier in the fall, and the applicant came forward with some further information, and as a result of discussions, we've chosen to now approve it with some conditions.
All those in favour?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
And number 7, blanket recommendation. Be it so resolved that decisions made at the Planning and Development Committee meeting on October 13, 2020 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Davis, discussion? All those in favour?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Hillier. Recommendation to Engineering and Public Works Committee. Unfortunately, Councillor Bursey had a work commitment, and I think Councillor Davis is taking us through that this evening.
Yes, Your Worship. Recommendations of Engineering and Public Works Committee. First of all, Councillor Bursey passes on his regrets. Transferred from the Committee of the Whole meeting number 17. Number 1, valve maintenance trailer, approval to purchase. Recommendation. Be it so resolved that approval is given to purchase 1 valve maintenance trailer from Saunders Equipment Limited at $78,000 plus HST. Funds are available in the said noted account. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Hillier, discussion? All those in favour? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried.
District water meters, approval to award. Recommendation. Be it so resolved that approval be given to award district water meters to Dexter Construction Company Limited for the bid price of $409,500 plus HST. Funds to be taken from the capital project account. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Butler, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Wastewater treatment plant ventilation upgrades.
One second.
Oh,
I think I'm
sorry.
in conflict on that one, so.
Okay.
Councillor Murphy?
Okay, wastewater treatment plant ventilation upgrades, approval to award. Recommendation, be it so resolved that approval be given to award wastewater treatment plant ventilation upgrades to G.J. Cal Company Limited for the bid price of $80,198 plus HST. Funds to be taken from the capital project account. So moved.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Hillier. Any discussion? All in favour?
Aye.
Contrary-minded, motion is carried.
Next, we have presentation of recommendations of meeting held on October 13, 2020. Worsley Drive, Laurel Road intersection improvements. Recommendation, be it so resolved that approval be given to award Worsley Drive, Laurel Road intersection improvements to Dexter Construction at an approximate cost of $8,260 plus HST. Funds to be taken from said noted account. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Tilly, discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, over the last couple of years, the town has taken steps to enhance traffic and pedestrian safety in this area. We are happy to announce the adjustments are needed at this intersection to improve sight distances and increase safety. It is intended for construction to begin this year, but it is dependent on several variables. Work not completed this year will commence again next year in spring 2021.
All those in fa-
Yes, Your Worship, if I could just for a moment. We met with residents, council did some time ago, a few years ago, to talk about some of the issues in this area down Chamberlain's Road and into Worsley Park. And this was just one of the number of things that came up that evening. And of course, the issue at Laurel Road and Worsley Drive was a sight line, and it made for what would be a dangerous situation there turning left, that we've been working hard for the past couple of years to try and find a remedy to. And we've been able to come up with one. You know, the big concern of cost and so forth and timing to get this done. But I'm very pleased that we're finally moving forward with this to make that intersection there a lot safer than it is. Of course, in the meantime, we have put in temporary speed humps at Worsley Drive before you get to Worsley Park. I believe they're probably up now, but they'll be in seasonally. Before you get there, we've had speed humps installed on Chamberlain's Road, and we've had the radar feedback there to address a number of concerns raised by residents at that meeting, and we'll continue to look at the area and monitor it as it goes forward. But there's been a number of upgrades there that I'm very pleased the council supported over the past 2 or 3 years, and of course this one here is a big one for the folks of Laurel Road there. Thank you.
No, it definitely is, I agree. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Anchorage Road and Minerals Road upgrades. Approval to call request for proposals for consulting services. Recommendation. Be it so resolved that approval is given to call requests for proposals for consulting services for 2021 street paving and upgrades. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Tilly, discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, both of these projects are committed for a 2021 construction start. Anchorage Road paving is a $1 million government cost shared program. It will generally include 1.5 kilometers of paving from Peacekeepers Way over to Minerals Road. Minerals Road upgrade is a gas tax funded program estimated at $2.5 million. Work will include road widening, curb and gutter, and sidewalk from Peacekeeper Way to Country Path Road. Upgrades will be similar to the recent upgrades to Legion Road, Lawrence Pond Road, and Fowler's Road.
from Peacekeeper Way to Country Path. Okay, yeah, that's right. I was going the other direction then, I thought that was all wrong. But no, that continues on with a commitment that council made, I guess, when we all ran. And that was to improve our road infrastructure. We had a lot of it in deplorable condition. And I guess 2 of our main thoroughfares now are done with Legion Road and Fowler's Road. And I have to say, I think they're done great jobs. And I think it's made a big difference for the traveling public back and forth to Peacekeepers Way. And I think obviously Minerals Road is one of the busiest, besides those 2, if not the busiest. So it's nice to bring that road up to the same specs as the other 2, and that'll give our 3 main arteries then, to Peacekeepers Way, back to a whole new standard. So that's certainly good to see.
The next one, Your Worship, is...
All those in favor?
Sorry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Next is Community Park Phase 2, approval to call requests for proposals for consulting services. Recommendation. Be it so resolved that approval is given to call requests for proposals for consulting services for Community Park Phase 2 project. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Butler, discussion?
Yes, Your Worship. As Phase 1 is near completion, we are pleased to continue the construction of the community park with the next phase. Phase 2 is a government cost-share program for approximately $2.2 million. The main features of Phase 2 work include an integrated ice rink and a splash pad system, change room and washroom facilities, lighting and electrical upgrades. Construction is anticipated to begin September 2021.
Another great addition to our town, and certainly as council, I know we're all proud to see that moving along as planned. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Motion carried.
Tender 2009, disposal of one 2002 Chevrolet grapple truck. Recommendation, be it so resolved that approval be given to tender 2009, disposal of one 2002 gravel truck to Bill's Muffler Brake Shop for $4,020 plus HST, funds to be taken from the general revenue account. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Hillier, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
We have a tender 20-12, disposal of one 2004 Johnson sweeper, approval to award. Be it so resolved that approval be given to tender 20-12, disposal of 2004 Johnson sweeper Farrell's Excavating Limited for $22,789 plus HST and funds to be taken from general revenue account. So moved.
Seconder? Deputy Mayor Murphy, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Yes, Your Worship, and blanket recommendation, be it so resolved that recommendations and decisions made at the Engineering and Public Works Committee meeting, October 13, 2020, be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Bent, discussion? All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Councillor Davis. Recommendations, Recreation and Leisure Services Committee, Chair Uden. Councillor Uden?
Yeah, we didn't have a meeting, but I'd certainly like to highlight 2 quick things. One is there's an open call for interest on our Youth Advisory Council. There's some pretty amazing kids that have been volunteers for this council in the past, and they're all incredible individuals, and I think participating in a youth council certainly helps them become better community-oriented people as well. So applications can be completed online, and we're accepting them until October 23rd. The second thing is we've done a lot of work with our Seniors Advisory Committee, but I know our recreation staff have sitting on a number of committees with the provincial government, but we're doing a survey to measure age friendliness of the town, and we're looking for feedback from seniors and older adults on topics such as traffic, transportation, inclusion, health services, and more. Anyone can complete the survey online on the town's website, or if they want, they can pick up the phone and give us a call, and we'll send them one out with return postage as well. So that's there, and those who complete the survey will have a chance to win a $300 grocery card. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Uden. So next we have recommendation of the Financial and Administrative Services Committee, Chair, Deputy Mayor Richard Murphy.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. We have two recommendations coming from the Committee of the Whole, meeting number 17. First one is Personnel Human Resources Manager. Be it so resolved that pending acceptable documentation, approval be given to appoint Tyler Putt to the position of Human Resources Manager as per the terms of the employment contract. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Hillier, discussion? All those in favour? Those opposed? Motion carried.
The next one is a approval to call tender for protective clothing. Be it so resolved that approval be given to call a tender for the supply of clothing for town employees scheduled for clothing allowance as per the collective agreement. Funds are available in the so noted accounts. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Butler, discussion? All those in favour? Those opposed? Motion carried.
The remainder, Your Worship, are recommendations of the meeting held on October the 13th, 2020. 2019 audited financial statements. Be it so resolved that the town accept and present the audit report as completed by Grant Thornton, Chartered Accountants. This document is hereby tabled for public review, and a copy shall be forwarded to the Minister of the Department of Environment, Climate Change and Municipalities, indicating the completion of our audited statement for the fiscal year 2019. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Bent, discussion? All those in favour? Those opposed? Motion carried.
Accounts payable check register. Be it so resolved that approval be given to pay accounts payable checks totaling $530,455.99. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Bent, discussion? All those in favour? Those opposed? Motion carried.
Ratification of manual checks previously released. Be it so resolved that approval be given to ratify the payment of manual checks previously released totaling $22,106.04. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Davis, discussion? All those in favour? Those opposed? Motion carried.
Your Worship, I'm going to declare conflict on item number 4. Councillor Tilly will present that one.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Councillor Tilly, carry on.
Thank you, Your Worship. Number 4 is a recommendation regarding capital invoices. Be it so resolved that approval be given to pay capital invoices totaling $537,755.16 as listed below. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Butler. Discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, this is just some of the items that the town has been working on or have been completed, and we got to pay our bills.
All those in favour?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Guess someone can grab Deputy Mayor Murphy. There we go.
Tax and other receivable adjustments. Be it so resolved that approval be given to adjust tax and other receivables accounts as follows, the so noted table. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Tilly. Discussion? All those in favour? Those against? Motion carried.
Acquisition of property, 4446 Dawes Place. Be it so resolved that the Crown acquire property located at 44-46 Dawes Place for the purposes of road widening and a turnaround. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Uden. Discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, we might want to make sure we get clear title to that, that piece of property,
Yes, for sure.
so somebody's not cussing on us 30 years down the road.
I hear you. All those in favour? Those against? Motion carries.
Appointment of auditors for 2020. Be it so resolved that approval be given to appoint Grant Thornton LLP as the auditor for the town of Conception Bay South for the year ended December 31st, 2020. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Bent, discussion? All those in favor? Those against? Motion carried.
2021-2022 Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program application. Be it so resolved that approval be given to make application under the 2021-2022 Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program for the following projects so noted. Your Worship, I just want to mention that these are 7 projects in total with an estimated value of $22,300,000, of which our share would be $206,665. So it's not etched in stone, but it is an application going forward. But these are great projects. It'd be really nice if we could get them all. We don't know how lucky we're going to be. Anyway, there's the motion, and so moved.
Seconder? Second. Councillor Tilley, discussion? So I have, I guess not a big issue. Obviously, I'm in favor of all those these projects, and unfortunately, I missed the meeting last week. I was away chasing the elusive moose. But the community centre, we have a $10 million number there. Now, I'm realizing full well that this is all ballpark numbers, and there'll be much more involved with engineering, design, and so on. But the community centre that I envision, and I know some of us, not only me, others, I don't think 10 million will cut it. And I see that as being a lot less than what we really need. And I would not even bring this to the table if it was $1 million or $2 million, but I see this facility being a cultural and recreation facility that will host all sorts of things, everything from, as a discussion I had earlier with the director, everything from seniors organizations to theater groups to sporting events, court sporting events, basketball, volleyball, things that we can't do right now. And so I'd like to see that number amended to, what I think would be a more realistic number would be 30 million. I said earlier 25 million, which would be the equivalent of the new arena was about 25 million, I think, in total cost at the end of the day. And I would think that this facility would probably be costing with inflation. And this is not something, of course, that's going to happen overnight, and this is not something that we're going to do in a year. This is things that you start planning now and hope that the funding comes through and you can do it quicker, sooner rather than later. But I think the reality of that number has to be much higher. And I don't know how everybody else feels in the chamber about it. I mean, we wouldn't certainly turn our nose up if someone decided to give us 10 million and we, downscale appropriately. But I think to do what we want to do, and I think we're going out now looking for a recreational cultural strategy, which I believe that one of the highlights in that will be a community centre, was talked about in the last one, and unfortunately was one of the boxes that wasn't ticked. I think you'll see that move quite a bit further up the list on the new cultural and recreation strategy once we get input from the general public. So I just think that that number is significantly low, and I'd like to see it amended to say, I was thinking earlier today 25 million, and somebody suggested it could be 35 million. So I'm anywhere in between that. That would be good for me. But we can take it off the list and hold back on it. But I don't want to slow down the application process. I don't know what everybody
Your
else's
Worship,
thoughts
why don't we amend it to look at, obviously, there's a lot of unknowns we don't know, but even if you amended it to $500,000 so that we could do the planning for such a facility to determine what we need, what the design is, similar to what we've done in other buildings. And I don't know if this program is the particular thing, but that is your obvious first step. We did that process with the stadium and others, and maybe the more realistic ask at this point in time would be to ask for that $500,000 for design and pre-engineering and so forth. So just a thought.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to downsize it to that personally. I can't recall how it went with the arena, but I believe that we got the money, the 22 million, and then we did the final touches on the planning, because we went around and viewed all different facilities, and I think the chairman, director of recreation, I know you guys went around to see other venues once we knew we had the money in total. So that's why I would hesitate on not asking for it now. Seeing we have this program available, I think it would be a good thing to ask for what we think would be a more realistic number. Any other comments? So, do I have to make a motion to amend that list, to change that number, and then I need a seconder, of course, correct? So I make a motion to amend the list for the community center to change it from 10 million to 30 million. So moved. Second, Councillor Hillier. Discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. And like I said, I realize that this is very early days, but, I think the 30 million is a much more accurate number than 10. Okay.
The next one, Your Worship, is the 2021.
Your Worship, I'd just like to check with the clerk. I don't know if we amended it, and the motion was to amend the motion. Do we need another motion to accept that amended motion, or are we good?
No, we're good. We can put the updated numbers in.
Okay, I just wanted to check. All right.
Thanks, Councillor Uden. Making sure we got it right. Carry on.
2021 Municipal Capital Works Funding, be it so resolved that approval be given to make application under the 2021 Municipal Capital Works Funding Program for construction of a municipal depot in the amount of $15 million. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Hillier, discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, I'd just like to make a comment on that. I mean, we've been battling or suffering with the lack of a proper municipal depot for years. And, we're out of space. We have employees working all over town because of that, and I think that that would be a welcome sight, and especially for the workers in our town, to have a modern facility. And I don't even know if $15 million is going to cut that one either, sir, but we'll take it if we can get it. Thank you.
Councillor Hill? Yeah, and I just wanted to add to that too. That's not to be confused with the multi-year capital works program. So the multi-year capital works program is where we've gotten all our money, or the vast majority. We did get some from the previous program we just talked about, but the majority of our funding, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Director, if I go astray here, but multi-year capital works is where we get our funding on a 3-year basis. So we, not that I can remember, maybe we have, if we received anything over the last number of years under this program, I can't recall. I don't think we have. No, we haven't. But we always received the letter to apply. So obviously we're going to apply and ask for one of our big ticket items. But again, that's not to take away from our ask for multi-year capital works, where we really, usually the larger municipalities takes part in a much bigger pool of money. So we'll hope for the best on the multi-year capital works. We still have no confirmation that it's coming, but we'll hope for the best, and we'll see how it goes. All those in favor? Aye. Those against? Motion carried.
Donation request, Holy Spirit High School, be it so resolved that approval be given for the donation of $250 to Holy Spirit High School in support of their annual scholarship and awards program. Funds are available in the so-noted account. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Bent. Discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried.
A donation request from Queen Elizabeth Regional High School. Be it so resolved that approval be given for the donation of $250 to Queen Elizabeth Regional High School in support of their annual scholarships and awards program. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Butler. Discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried.
And finally, be it so resolved that the recommendations and decisions made at the Financial and Administrative Services Committee meeting of October 13th, 2020 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Hiller, discussion? All those in favour? Those opposed? Motion carried. All right, thank you, Deputy Mayor Murphy. Next, we have recommendations to the Economic Development and Tourism Committee. Chair, Councillor Butler.
Thank you, Your Worship. Recommendations coming out of our meeting held on October 13th, 2020. T-Railway repairs. Recommendation. Be it so resolved that approval be given to engage the Grand Concourse Authority to complete T-Railway repairs in the area of Station Road to Tilly's Road North and Harvey's Path to Delaney's Road, at a cost of $116,537.07, taxes included. The repair work will include future storm mitigation measures and engineering assessment. Funds are available of capital out of revenue. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Bent, discussion?
Yes, Your Worship. I just wanted to mention that the repairs in the area between Delaney's Road and Pond Road are ongoing, and during this time, we ask for your continued support to avoid the area. Construction is expected to continue for the next couple of weeks. Earlier in the year, the town made application to the Disaster Relief Fund for these and other repairs. The ultimate goal of the repairs is to open the T-Railway only when it is deemed safe to do so. Thank you.
Yes, encourage people to leave their regular walking trail and go down and walk Manuel's River. If they walk in the west end, go down and see the east end, because we're developing a great trail network here in our town, and I think it's something that we all should be really proud of and use as much as we can. All those in favour? Those against? Motion carried.
And our blanket recommendation, be it so resolved that the recommendations, decisions made at the Economic Development and Tourism Committee meeting of October 13th, 2020 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Tilly, discussion? All those in favour? Those opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. Other committee reports? There being none, call for a motion to adjourn. Thank you very much. Seconder on that motion? Councillor Uden. Thank you very much, folks, and have a great night. Thanks for tuning in. For those